Hello, thanks for joining us here on France 24 for the business interview. I'm Tom Burgess-Watson. Now today my guest is one of the most successful figures in the history of British motor racing. Whether or not you're interested in Formula One and racing, there are no doubt lessons everyone in the world of business can draw from this man, a perfectionist with a nothing is impossible approach. Ron Dennis, Executive Chairman of McLaren, thank you very much indeed for joining us by satellite from London. Now you've handed over control of the McLaren Formula One team and you're turning your attentions to a new challenge which is behind you, manufacturing sports cars. This must mean a significant change in lifestyle for you.
Well, not as much as you would think. I still go to most of the Grand Prix, and of course I'm very passionate about motor racing. But I've noticed over the last few years, I think one statistic that really burned into my mind, which is since I started motor racing in 1966, which in fact was when McLaren started in Formula One, 107 Formula One teams have come and gone. Effectively, therefore, it's a very precarious sport to be in, and certainly a very precarious business. Only ourselves and Ferrari have gone the long haul since that date. And therefore, I think and felt strongly that we needed to diverse ourselves into other activities that were alignable to our brand values. Hence, I decided that we would go from the initial efforts with the F1 and the SLR Mercedes into a full-blown car company, and that required a lot of focus, dedication and investment, and I felt I had to demonstrate to anyone that was investing in us that I was really committed to it, and that meant me coming away from the pit wall and delegating that responsibility to Martin Whitmarsh.
Now it's getting good reviews, your McLaren 12C, and it's just starting to go on sale, about 200,000 euros here in Europe plus extras. Which markets are you focusing on in particular?
Well, the markets that we've, let's say, embraced at the moment are the UK initially. We will enter the European market in a little over a month. Then we'll move to America and Asia, America being October, Asia being November. We've currently got orders for 1,800 plus cars, and we're ramping production at our new facilities in Woking to cope with that demand.
Now, the Ferrari 458 is coming out at about the same time. There are lots of comparisons being made in the market. How do you think the McLaren 12C is going to fare?
Well, the 458 has been around for some time now. It's not a new vehicle, and it's certainly the benchmark in this category. But the reality is that the McLaren ownership is, by design, different to that of Ferrari. I don't see Ferrari as competitors. These are almost partners. We have a comparable marketing strategy of competing in Formula One and trying to win the World Championship. Of course, they're fierce competitors. But in reality, even if we hit our own targets of 4% market share and Ferrari grows to 14%, that will still only represent 20% of the entire market, which in global sense is about 100,000 cars a year. So we are more aligned to Ferrari than most people would expect. We really see most of our customers falling either outside of the Ferrari customer domain, or in fact having joint ownership. So it won't be no surprise to anybody that I think that many of the Ferrari customers will own a McLaren and vice versa. But the customer experience is designed to be completely different, and as such it will be the customers that decide whether we've achieved that objective.
Let's talk a little bit about your management style. I think disciplinarian, perfectionist, these are words that are commonly associated with you. Do you think that that's a management style that could be applied to other businesses?
Well, first of all, the management style of disciplinarian I think is a little harsh. I'm as tough on myself as I am on everybody in the company, and I have a simple aspiration for the company, is that if we participate in any business discipline, be Formula One or cars or electronics, we want to be the best in the world, and I could see no reason why that shouldn't be the ambition of every company. My view is that if you are the best in the world, inevitably you're going to make money, and that's of secondary importance to me. Making money is a result of being good at what you do. So we talk about the McLaren DNA. The McLaren DNA is a really can-do attitude. It's a a self-belief that is focused on results. And of course, we want to be the best in the world, and people can get that when it comes to Formula One because you're measured by race results. But when it comes to business, it's a little bit more opaque. But we have specific goals for ourselves which we think we're going to achieve, and we are achieving. And the result will be, I believe, a very profitable business in a very challenging market.
You've gone a little bit further than many corporate chiefs. You've got a new headquarters in the UK designed by none other than Norman Foster. You're calling it an industrial utopia. Do you think other companies in other industries could maybe take a page out of your book and provide such amazing facilities for their employees? Do you think it's so important?
Well, I think I look at a McLaren Technology Centre as a brand statement within its own right. I believe passionately that people respond to the environment in which you place them, and therefore I put great emphasis on the facilities we provide our workforce. However, the business model requires a given volume and a different margin to that associated with high volume. We would never challenge those people who are very strong in producing low-cost, high-volume products. We are erring towards a luxury brand. The attraction of being a luxury brand is, of course, very apparent in the multiples that are used to determine value. And if you look at Ferrari in comparison to some of the lesser brands, their multiple is up around the 8s and 9s, whereas most automobile companies are much lower. We intend to be, alongside, if not ahead of them, and that's very often determined by margins, volume, and of course appeal to the consumer. So if you said to me, why are you in one Hyde Park? It's because we want to be aligned with luxury brands, and we want to be aspirational and clearly meet the demands of a very exacting client.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much indeed to my guest today for joining us here on France 24, Ron Dennis, Executive Chairman of McLaren. And thanks to you for watching. Do stay tuned. More news coming up shortly on France 24.